Thank you
Please
so much.
do,
We're going
please
to
do.
jump over. The FBI presser on this, on the ground in Utah, is beginning right now. Let's listen in.
To recognize and honor those that sacrificed to preserve the ideals of this country, the freedoms of this country. And instead, we find ourselves today hunting a murderer who chose to violate our rights, the rights of an individual within this country. Just to recap yesterday's events, at around 12:20 p.m., political influencer Charlie Kirk was at Utah Valley University participating in a student-sponsored event with Turning Point USA. Charlie was shot at that event. He was transported to a local hospital where he later passed. Last night, his body was moved to the state office of the medical examiner. We will continue to facilitate movements to get him home today and with his family. Yesterday, during the investigative process, we located a couple of persons of interest. We interviewed those individuals, and after releasing them and after clearing them of being suspects, they face scrutiny, they face threats. We asked the public to be patient with the investigative process. These individuals were not suspects, they were people of interest. We ask that you do not impose into those people and that investigative process. They don't deserve that harassment for being subject to that. I'd like to thank all the investigators that are involved in this. They have worked around the clock. All day yesterday, through the night last night, investigators from the State Bureau of Investigations, from county, from city agencies, the university, our federal partners with the FBI, the ATF, and many others. Those are just a few of the people that we have involved in this. I'd like to thank all of them for their strong work. Through all that work last night, we were able to make a few breakthroughs. We were able to track the movements of the shooter. Starting at 11:52 a.m., the subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood. Our investigators have worked through those neighborhoods, contacting anybody they can with doorbell cameras, witnesses, and have thoroughly worked through those communities, trying to identify any leads. We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time. We are working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media and we will push that publicly to help us identify them. But we are confident in our abilities right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe and moves this process appropriately. Last night I communicated with Erica. The family's devastated. As a Commissioner of Public Safety, as a father, as a husband, I can only imagine what that family's going through. The heinous event that happened yesterday is not Utah. This is not what we're known for. Over the past several weeks, we've seen this state come together to help families in mourning, come together as a community to show what Utah is known for a state of character, of service, of camaraderie, of a neighboring feel. We will not stand for what happened yesterday. We are exhausting every lead. We have every officer invested in this, every investigator, every local agency. The outpouring of support from the law enforcement community has been astounding. We are investing everything we have into this, and we will catch this individual. Having walked through the crime scene, through the hallways of this school, through the classrooms, I can't imagine what the people on scene felt as well. A horrific event where some of them barricaded in classrooms, some of them ran in fear. Can't overstate the tragedy and the horrific event that yesterday was. and how we will work to bring to justice the actions of one individual or any other individuals that assisted in that. Our state has gone through a lot, and we will come out successful. With that, I'll turn the time over to Special Agent Bowles in charge.
Good morning. My name is Robert Bowles, and I am the Special Agent in charge of the Salt Lake Field Office. Following yesterday's tragic shooting of Charlie Kirk, FBI agents have been working around the clock in coordination with our law enforcement partners. We are and will continue to work nonstop until we find the person that has committed this heinous crime and find out why they did it. This morning I can tell you that we have recovered what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle. That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. So the FBI laboratory will be analyzing this weapon. Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis. Now, I understand there are a lot of questions about motive. I assure you that all leads, tips are being fully investigated. As of this morning, we have received more than 130 tips. We thank the community for that. The FBI has brought every resource to bear, and we will continue to do so throughout the course of this investigation. The FBI's mission is to protect the American people. It's to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Any attack on the First Amendment is an attack on the very foundation of our democracy. That is why we will relentlessly pursue this case and the shooter until we find him. We also continue to grieve with the family and the community. It's our community. Our digital media tip website at www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley Shooting. You can also call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. We truly rely on the public's help in these types of cases, and no tip is too small or insignificant. Thank you.
There's clearly information about him or her, the state of conflict, in this state example, tracking down who they are. Can you talk to us about their movements, their demeanor? Do you think it's a man? And also, can I ask, what were the security arrangements in place? Was that room being monitored? It's a question many people will have.
Absolutely. So what I'll release about the suspect is suspect blended in well with a college institution. We're not releasing many details right now, and we will soon, but right now we're not. But that individual appears to be of college age. We are confident in our abilities to track that individual. If we're unsuccessful in identifying them immediately, we will reach out for the public's help and the media's help in pushing those photos. That was a new development overnight, working through the night, studying those cameras. So that's something that's new and that we're working through right now. As far as the security, I cannot speak to that. Neither the Department of Public Safety nor the Federal Bureau of Investigation was involved in the planning or security of this event, and that'll have to be a question later for other agencies.
Area. So that's a good question, and it's a question that goes to the safety of the community, right? No, not in those woods. We've walked through those woods and secured it. As to the community, I can tell you that this was a targeted event. We don't believe that the community is at risk. However, we are exhausting every resource to find him, and we will do so.
Well, to say that you
Now, tell me, the BBC, from the images you have, can you see clearly the suspect's face? You say he's college age. Do you believe he was from this university? And how far do you think he
So I can't comment specifically on his face or any details such as that, as it's continuing to be a part of the investigation, and again, we'll release that shortly. However, we're doing everything we can to find him, and we're not sure how far he has gone yet, but we will do our best. We have images of the suspect.
Between those images and the gun that you've been able to recover, do you believe you know who this person is, the person that you're looking for at this point?
Again, as part of the investigation, we're not releasing any details such as that right now.
Any fingerprints or DNA?
We are exhausting all of our resources to be able to collect those, but that's, again, part of the investigation.
How did the suspect get on the roof?
Excuse me?
You said you found the weapon. Have you been able to trace back the owner of that weapon or who purchased it?
We are working on that, but again, part of the investigation that I can't release.
Agent Rose, there's been a lot of turnover at the FBI. Do you think that's impacting the investigation at all?
Not at all. We've got complete and total support from everyone, from the director on down, and it's been an incredible supportive environment so far.
Last week's like the one yesterday useful though, where we announced that there's a suspect in custody.
All I can say is that we're working the investigation the best we have with the environment we're given. So thank you.
All right, you've been listening to a news conference from Utah with state and federal officials. You've been watching a news conference from Utah from state and federal officials giving us an update in the investigation into the killing of Charlie Kirk. A lot of major information just revealed on this manhunt, some 19 hours long and still going. Let's go through some of the key points here. Bo Mason, the commissioner of Utah Public Safety, told us that they have video of the suspect arriving on campus at 11:52 a.m. That's about 28 minutes before Charlie Kirk was killed. They have video of the suspect moving through stairwells onto the roof, and then after the shooting, off the roof and into a local neighborhood. They have searched the neighborhood. They have screened doorbell footage, any other cameras in the area to find out what they can. They also said they have a good video image of this suspect, who they referred repeatedly to as him, a man,
Right.
And they say this person is of college age.
And then when the FBI special agent in charge, Robert Bowles, also offered some additional important information about this, saying that they have now recovered what they believe is the weapon, a high-powered bolt-action rifle, that it was recovered in the wooded area that John was mentioning, that they said that the shooter fled to. They also say they have collected what could be some key identifying evidence, a footwear impression, palm and forearm impressions for analysis. And they are asking for more tips. They say that they so far have 130 tips as of this morning, and also saying that they do believe, confirming what has been generally assumed and known, that this was a targeted event. They do not believe there is further risk to the community, but also saying they do not know how far this man has gone yet.
Let's bring in CNN law enforcement analyst, former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, who's been listening alongside us. Andy, it does seem like they have a lot of information. What do you feel as if is the most important right now?
Yeah, well, they made a lot of progress in the last few hours and overnight. So, John, the first thing here, the most significant thing, is they have video that they believe is the person who conducted this assassination. And of course, now the challenge is to identify exactly who that person is. But if you remember when you and I last spoke earlier this morning, we talked about video capture and how as soon as you get that one video of the person running off the roof, that begins your study of video. And it's so important to go further away from the site of the shooting. And that's when you start looking at stairwells and hallways and in the broader community. That enables you to track that person back to wherever maybe they parked a car or how they walked onto campus. That appears to be exactly what they did here, which is just kind of textbook good investigation. As for the potentially identifying matter of that palm print and the shoe print and the forearm, those things are all good. They likely picked those up off the surface of the roof. It's hard to tell from our video exactly what that surface is, but it is probably something like gravel or rocks or things like that that you could get an impression from. Those aren't going to give you an absolute positive ID, but it was enough to confirm for investigators that this is where this guy laid down to take that shot, which would have also been consistent with the video you saw. So a lot of really good detail coming out of the press conference here.
I was actually going to say, as we were thinking this through, it has kind of been assumed that it was on top of a roof because we have that video that had been released, but now they are confirming that the location, the shooting location, was on a rooftop. That clearly was, you know, as we have discussed, hundreds, 200 yards away is what is believed, at least right now. The choice by all of the law enforcement leading this investigation, Andy, to not release the image to the public, I would say, going through their process of why not, pretty candidly. They think they are confident. If they are unsuccessful, they said, in identifying the suspect, then they will come back to the public, to the media, to release that image. Can you talk to me about that choice, what that means, that choice in an investigation?
Yeah, it's an incredibly crucial point, and one that I circled in my notebook when I was watching the press conference. So, first of all, they are exuding confidence here in their ability to identify this person, which is a good thing. Most of that confidence is probably based upon one thing that you heard the director say, which is that they have technologies that they are going to use to try to identify him. So if you think back to the most famous prior case of using kind of crowdsourcing the public to identify somebody from a video, it's of course the Boston bombing, which is the thing that really turned that investigation around for us. I know it well, having been there in the room with Director Mueller and had that conversation about, is it time to go to the public with these images? And at the time, we had to do it because the public had basically taken over the investigation themselves, and people who had nothing to do with the crime were being tormented and their pictures put up in the press. That was a problem. Now, today, things are very different. They have very powerful AI-driven technology that will help you identify someone from a photograph. And that technology can draw on photographic images from across the internet. So the scope of potential matching photographs or images is infinitely bigger now. This technology is not without its own level of controversy because there are significant concerns about biases that are built into the algorithmic technology and things like that. But nevertheless, it helps law enforcement in a moment like this go from a picture of somebody they don't know to a picture that's been identified. So clearly they're going to go down that road first. If it's not successful quickly, I expect we'll see another press conference where the videos themselves or images from them are released.
Andy, as Kate said, they indicated they do believe this was a targeted attack and said they do not believe the community is at risk. What must they know to be so sure of that?
It's a really good question, John, and I'm not sure that we have the answer to that yet. My guess would be that that statement was predicated on the idea that this was clearly a very targeted crime, and it doesn't appear that it is part of a larger effort to assassinate or injure other people. So thinking like, well, the shooter has done his deed, now he's just trying to get away. The problem with that is it kind of doesn't, it ignores the fact that you have an assassin, a murderer at loose somewhere, maybe in the local community, maybe they've gone farther away. And that person knows that if they are picked up, they face a long prison term or possibly the death penalty. So if their escape is impeded in any way, I would argue that they still present a significant danger to the community wherever they are.
Your background and expertise on this, Andy, is so important. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for sticking around and jumping on with us.